I'm trying to change to make the best.
Hey, it's Abby. Basically, the light is all funny because I live in England. At the moment, it's getting dark very early. But just a quick update. Since last time I put up a video, I've read How I Live Now by Meg Rossoff and the third book in the Airhead series by Meg Cabot, and also another book which I will be reviewing today, which I'll come to. So just quickly on How I Live Now, I personally did not like this book. I found it very strange. The writing style was quite unusual. I did not really like it. There were no speech marks. You had to get used to it, and I'm sure the other people found it fine. Also, the whole plot line and story was very weird. It was about this American girl who came over to England to stay with her cousin, and their aunt kind of left them to do what they wanted. She developed feelings for her cousin Edmund, and then a war started, and I got very confused about this whole war thing. Also, I didn't particularly like the main character. I ended up giving it 1 star. I personally just did not get on with the book. It just was not my cup of tea. Mark Haddon and other authors had praised it really highly, and I just didn't really understand why. And then Airhead, book 3, Runaway, by Meg Cabot. Runaway was okay. I think it's for younger people. I started the series a couple years ago when the first one came out, and I enjoyed it. Now I think maybe I've matured as a person because it didn't really appeal to me much. The storyline wasn't that exciting. The characters weren't that great, but it was fun. It was a light read, mainly. Got dark at the end, but it wasn't deep and dark. It just needed an obstacle. I would recommend it for a slightly younger audience. It was okay, also because of the gap between when I read it and now. Maybe that had an effect, I'm not sure. On to the actual purpose of this video. Basically, I signed up for NetGalley, which is a website where you get books for review, and I thought I would apply for some books, and I did, and some of them got accepted. The first book I got was Entangled, and NetGalley works by giving you the ebook version, so I don't have it. I now have a picture in, so I'll put one over here. This was my first book I got for review, and it's Entangled, which is Spellbound Book 1 by Nikki Jefford. I was originally drawn in by the blurb, which talked about quite an unusual storyline. I thought it was about a twin sister who died and come back to life in her twin's body and needed to pretend like she was her twin and not let anyone find out that she wasn't. The whole coming back to life thing sounded interesting, and then I got the book and I started reading, and I was really confused because it turns out that they're witches. I didn't know that from the blurb. Kind of added a whole different slant to the story. Overall, I gave this book 2 stars, I think, on Goodreads, because on Goodreads 2 stars is it was okay. I don't mean to be harsh. Personally, I found the writing style quite like the free ebooks you can get. Not very polished. I've started the second book I got for review, which is What's Left of Me, I think, and I'll be doing a review of that one too. But instantly the writing style was so much nicer to read. I'm not sure why that was, but that was one thing I noticed when reading it, and it annoyed me a little bit. Okay, plot. The main character was Graylee Perez, and so it's all about this girl called Graylee and her sister, and trying to live as her sister. There was a whole nother twist put in that maybe I just didn't read the blurb well enough, but I did not catch all this. She actually only gets to be her twin sister for a day every other day, and also, let's just say, on a side note, Charlene is not nice at all. I really did not like her. In fact, both of them, I did not find that their motivation for doing things and their reasoning was very realistic. It was all very dramatic. Grey attacks someone. I can't see anyone really doing that, but maybe they do. Grey is a witch, and she basically has no power. Is a sore point for her. Her sister is perfectly fine, and Grey dies in the middle of the night for no apparent reason. Her sister at the time is very upset because her boyfriend apparently has cheated on her and she wants revenge. Pretty much she goes kind of crazy. Again, not that realistically. Grey one day just wakes up in her twin sister's body, and it's because her mum has managed to bring her back from the afterlife, but she has to share Charlene's body, and neither of them are very happy about this. It is the first book, so maybe it will get better, but this book was primarily about Grey trying to get her own body back. There was some boy drama going on. The way that she kept switching in and out of her sister's body was weird but interesting. She had to adapt greatly to being her sister. Grey was quite selfish. I didn't particularly like her. She was a little bit annoying. Some of the things she did, I didn't necessarily agree with them. Some things, it seemed, were obvious in the plot, and no one else saw that these things were going to happen. Charlene, worse than her sister, more selfish, crazy reactions to things, just way over the top, and pretty evil. Raj McKenna, he was the main love interest, and then Nolan Knapp was also kind of involved in that thing. I quite liked Nolan at first, and then I was like, whoa, okay, when she comes back to life, which actually happened further in the story than I thought it was going to. There's a love triangle which is kind of played up, and the whole bad boy person was stressed. I wasn't a massive fan of that. Raj, he was your stereotypical bad boy, but then Grey went crazy too, so he seemed to have a good heart. He had some issues. I think it was good that the book talked about those, but it didn't really do it in massive detail. The cover, personally, I think it's really beautiful, but I have no idea what it's got to do with the book, unless that's her corpse. I don't know. I'm sad that I have to give this a low rating. I mean, it was my first book for review, but I'm just being honest. The characters didn't develop that much. They still had crazy reactions by the end. Some of the other characters just felt like they were just there to support the main characters. Like Grey's best friend is mentioned at the beginning and then just completely forgotten about. I really like it when books are neat, everything links up and has a reason, but this one didn't really do that. I think personally, because I'm quite into the contemporary genre at the moment, it wasn't realistic enough for me how people reacted to things. This would have to be a thumbs down. It just wasn't that great. I was looking for great because the cover was pretty, the blurb sounded good, but it just wasn't really what it sounded like on the tin for me. So thanks for watching. Hopefully I'll have a more positive review next time. Okay, bye.